Just about everything we do in life, we do it to avoid discomfort. We stay in this comfort zone because it feels safe. But to get ahead of 99% of people, you should be willing to do something that most people won't. And that means observing the masses, taking action, and focusing on decisions that matter, decisions that go against the norm. Now, everyone is talented one way or another. Talent is cheaper than table salt. What separates the talented individual from the successful one is a lot of hard work. This is something Stephen King said, and it's basically the backbone of what I'm going to talk about today.
And if there's any secret that I know to success, it's if you don't succeed, get a bigger name.
No, I'm not saying I'll tell you how to become a millionaire in 2 to 5 years. I want to show you how to become brutally aware of your own path in life, how to take control of your destiny, and unlock your truest potential to achieve success and be happy.
I'm the type of person, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I'm gonna tell you that I don't know. But I bet you what, I know how to find the answer, and I will find the answer.
I mean, that's what we all want, right? To be happy. But how can we be happy if we're not successful? Can we really be happy once we become successful? What does it take to really be happy and successful? Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I want to start with awareness. Become aware of what you don't want in life and where you are heading right now. There are a lot of people who are stuck in the mindset of, I don't know what to do with my life. But if you want to take action, you first must search for a purpose, passion, for whatever it is you want to do in life.
See yourself as the victim of the world and trying to change the world so that they won't hurt you anymore, or you can actually empower yourself. And that's what the healing is all about.
First, don't compare yourself to others. If you want to get ahead of 99% of people, then you need to be comfortable with yourself and what you can do. You should be willing to take risks and face criticism. I mean, we can't stop comparing completely. It's in our nature. It's just to start comparing in the right way, the healthy way. You should compare yourself to 2 people.
When you do stop, you check the time and 1, 2, or even 3 hours have gone by. And you're like, what the have I been doing this entire time?
First, compare yourself to one person who you really, genuinely think is above your level, and that person is the same age as you. Not all those celebrities and influencers you see on social media. Not these famous investors you see on TV. Just that one person. This is how you work around your nature to compete and compare. The second person you should compare yourself to is who you were a couple of years ago, like 2 years ago or 5 years ago. This can give you the perspective of where you are now and where you want to be. Ask yourself this: what would the younger version of me think about the current me? As a child, we behave based on our purest interests. Most of us are fearless and like to express ourselves by dancing, laughing, and playing. We tend to have an authentic and playful attitude towards life that's fun and exciting. We are then shaped and morphed according to outside influences. Of course, no one's life is perfect. I get that. I know. For some, connecting with the childlike version of ourselves means facing some difficult emotions. But if we go beyond that, we can see that as children, we act out our dreams, feelings, thoughts, and experiences through our play. Our creativity becomes the foundation for how we prepare for the real world. This is what you need: creativity. The truth is, deep down, that inner child still exists. This is your authentic self. If you listen to it, you can reconnect with the truest, most passionate version of yourself, one that you suppressed years ago. Then think about what it is in your life that you want to change. Is it your lifestyle, relationship, career, routine? Who are the people that you admire and inspire you? What scares you? Understanding yourself, your limiting beliefs, aspirations, and rational fears can help you move forward. When you know your strengths and weaknesses, you can attract opportunities that make you shine. This gets us to number 2. Become a powerful manifester. I see a lot of people who do vision boards, and that's fine.
Is it on your vision board? Okay, cool. Put it on your vision board. Work like a dog. No, really, and ask God for some help. That's the way you make it in life.
Vision boards let you visualize your success. When you look at it every day, you get to immerse yourself in goals and strive to achieve them. This is a great way to create a powerful image in your mind. But what we really need to work on is the skill of manifestation. This can help us grow. And this is something you can do even without a vision board. Oprah talked about it, and it really stuck with me.
Vision board anymore because I am a powerful manifester, and I know that, and I know how to do it without physically putting it on a board. I know how. You have to. You want to know how to do it?
Absolutely.
You have to meet the vibration.
Basically, she's saying Create a vision, meet the vibration, release it, let it go, and expect it to manifest. When you become a powerful manifester, you allow your life to be in flow and you to be happy, regardless of what life throws at you. This can give you a great sense of inner peace and can raise your energetic vibration. One thing to remember is that it takes a lot of practice to get to this level. If that means starting from a physical vision board, then by all means, do that. Just think of failure as an opportunity and embrace the challenges that come your way. Let your desires be bigger than your fears. Eliminate distractions and negative influences. If that means cutting people off, habits, or activities that don't align with your values and goals, so be it. More millionaires will be made in the next 12 to 24 months than ever before, but only those willing to lock in and go crazy about their dreams. That brings us to number 3. Develop a contrarian idea. Observe the masses. See what everyone else is doing, how most go with the flow and agree with popular opinions, how most people will do whatever it takes just to avoid confrontation, so they let things be as they are. I mean, look at us. We're doing so many mindless habits that are giving us anxiety. We're wasting time on social media, binge watching TV or Netflix series, staying inside all day, every day, checking our phones for notifications. The list goes on and on. After we go down this rabbit hole, we kick ourselves for wasting time instead of doing something productive. So we end up repeating the same cycle of many frustrations.
The biggest issue with the stories in Phase 4 is their predictability. I can tell the plot and characterizations of the stories in one single line.
To be successful, you need to challenge highly popularized habits, beliefs, perceptions, and assumptions. You need to challenge the status quo with a contrarian idea. There is a good reason people are suspicious of new ideas. Yes, some of these ideas are unrealistic, but as time goes on, we tend to discontinue anything that's not familiar. So we dismiss ideas that challenge the way the world works, and we judge based on limiting cultures and stereotypes.
OpenAI, I mean, you seem somewhat frustrated with them. You were one of the big contributors early on.
The reason I am the reason OpenAI exists.
To avoid this mind trap, you should become a smart contrarian and lean into cognitive dissonance. A person that can find business practices that don't make sense. Someone who doesn't rely on the ideas of other people. You should embrace diversity and enjoy life on the sidelines, and think of getting ahead as a process instead of a race that you must finish. Basically, you need to read between the lines and see things other people don't see. Genuine contrarians don't just adopt an opposing view for the sake of it. That's a hipster. They do it because they genuinely believe that taking a different perspective will lead to a better outcome. Some viewpoints can arise from a rebellious nature, but they endure because they hold valid ideas. While many popular things are indeed good, there are also popular things that simply don't work or don't perform as well as they should. It's highly probable that some individuals with opposing viewpoints will gather large cult-like followings. However, these figures often exploit the inherent tendency of untrained minds who have this black and white thinking. Such individuals are not true contrarians. They're ideological demagogues seeking to increase their own power by limiting the open-mindedness of others. To get ahead of people with a limiting mindset, it's important to, number 4, create order in your life to prevent yourself from falling into chaos. Consistency plus time equals results. You create a meaningful life based on daily habits, how consistent you are, and how close those dreams are to your heart. Now, think about what kind of daily habits you are doing that will lead you to your goal. To prevent chaos, you need order. This means developing systems and routines for managing your time and resources, like a well-structured schedule or to-do list that outlines your daily, weekly, and monthly activities in a way that helps you make progress toward your goals. Allocate specific time slots for tasks, including work, personal commitments, and self-improvement.
Is that there's great power in seeing what is going on in your head and not just thinking those thoughts. So oftentimes it's to-dos, it's doubts, it's questions that I have.
Establish consistent daily routines that include time for activities like exercise, self-reflection, learning, and relaxation. Routines help create structure and maintain discipline. So write everything down, list them, draw them, however you like. Just visualize. It's hard to know what you want to prioritize if you have no clue what you're prioritizing. Lay out your to-dos, projects, ideas across the timeline. Just don't play the blame game.
A parent for not being there, abandoning you, not going to your baseball games, not supporting you, or doing some crazy things, or if they had an addiction when they were young, or they gave you up for adoption. Sometimes we blame them for that. And the greatest person I've ever seen frame that in a way, I mean, I had my own transition, but Tony frames it in a way where he says, if you're gonna blame them for the shit, you better blame them for all the good they gave.
Your present circumstances stem from the choices you made or didn't make, based on the chances you had. Regardless of what happened years ago, it's your life, and it's crucial that you deal with it and restore order and control. Repenting involves changing the course of your current life by choosing to make a complete turnaround and head in the opposite direction. This step is the hardest one, as it demands willpower. However, it's also the most crucial step, as true transformation could not happen until you have really made up your mind that you want to change. So, list your priorities on a piece of paper, or however you like, so that they'll be visible to you everywhere. Commit to these priorities and keep them at the center. This can keep you from becoming lazy, getting sidetracked, or wasting your time. So, now we've come to number 5. Figure out if you want to become a specialist or a generalist. The problem is, it's very hard for people to tell the difference between a generalist who genuinely has skills and knowledge across multiple fields and disciplines, and someone who pretends to be one.
Look internally and ask yourself, what am I really good at? What I don't want to do is have you start competing against everybody, because then you won't be good at anything.
Most of the time we meet people who like to brag, but they know very little of what they're talking about. The extent of your training and the depth of your studies can affect whether you become a generalist or a specialist and how attractive you are to potential employers. Learning the differences between the two can help you work on your career path. Now, both of them have pros and cons. As a specialist, you can expect to have specific, in-depth knowledge. You will be great at one thing, and it's easier to sell your abilities in a crowded marketplace.
What do you do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. If there's not a need for your labor, what's the meaning? Do you have meaning?
Advances in technology and the emergence of green economies will further disrupt labor markets in the coming years and turn retraining workers into one of the highest priorities for businesses and governments.
The more experience you have, the more you can charge. But you also risk becoming obsolete. That's because you can only do one thing. As a generalist, you can have multiple skill sets, better career flexibility, and easier adaptation. But in most cases, you are very likely to have shallow knowledge. And starting out as a generalist can take time and effort, which often results in low pay. But you get the ability to learn multiple skill sets and gather knowledge from different fields. If you enjoy changing what you do and trying different things, then growing and expanding your skills as a generalist can work well for you. But if you can't imagine the chaos of switching gears every time something wrong happens, or you have to learn to do different jobs in various fields, then a specialist can bring you a sense of peace. So, work on what it is that you really want. This brings us to number 6, execute. Success depends on the actions you're going to take to achieve it, and an idea, no matter how unique or good it is just a concept, something that represents your thoughts. It is the execution that gives your idea a real purpose, vision, and direction. Properly plan your efforts and take small, calculated steps that can take you to your destination.
I love to use strategy as a disguise for non-action.
Creating an idea and executing it is equally important, whether you want to become a successful entrepreneur or a good worker. These two factors constantly interact, ensuring a smooth progression towards success. Through a well-crafted execution plan, you can effectively target the right audience with your products or services. That's why you need a solid business plan for long-term success. It's important to recognize the distinction between having the right idea and executing it correctly. Successful startups outperform their competitors by executing their ideas more effectively. The main goal of every business is to enhance its performance and move forward. Entrepreneurs achieve this through efficient planning and execution strategies. To execute your ideas successfully, avoid giving yourself an overwhelming number of goals. Monitor the execution activities, keep track of your performance, and create a system of accountability. Prioritizing stuff can simplify the process. That's because when you have too much on your plate, it can get messy really fast. For a smoother workflow, narrow the focus down to a couple of important goals. Act on what really matters, and then finish the rest of the tasks. Concentrate on critical activities and monitor them closely to achieve your business goals. You can keep a scoreboard or tracking sheet if you like. Establish timelines and encourage the team to work properly. Clearly communicate with team members about their responsibilities, since lack of accountability can seriously hinder strategic execution. Now, we've come to the last part, number 7. Prepare for the downsides of extreme success. When you become a contrarian, it can lead to disapproval and isolation from others. It invites skepticism and criticism. What many people don't realize is that our modern culture of materialism and consumerism is affecting our psychological health and everyday happiness. When our values are basically centered around what we want, like owning big houses, fancy cars, or accumulating more wealth, we are just more likely to be unhappy, depressed, and anxious. These materialistic values just undermine our well-being and perpetrate feelings of insecurity. They make us feel less free. Let me explain. Compared to the 1950s, we now own twice as many commodities, vehicles, and other technologies that make our lives easier. Of course, happiness is hard to nail down, let alone measure. But studies indicate that compared to our grandparents, the younger generation has grown up with more convenience, affluence, and less happiness. Today, there is now a much higher risk of depression and other mental health disorders. So, why is that? We are at a time now when consumer culture has reached its peak.
Society. Our lives revolve around shops, supermarkets, new experiences, new stuff.
I mean, it's normal. If we are poor, we're more likely to be materialistic. Wanting to become rich is not merely because we want more things. It's also because we want power and respect. As, with all things psychological, the connection between materialism and mental state is complicated. Some experts suggest there are a couple of factors that can affect our ability to be happy when we pursue wealth. We think that having these things will completely change our lives. So, we want to improve. We want more and more. When we buy more stuff, we wonder, what's next? That next thing has to be better and bigger than what we've had before. Otherwise, it won't have the same impact. When we organize our lives around materialistic pursuits, we neglect our internal experiences. We are focusing on spending less time nurturing things that can boost our long-term happiness, such as building social or romantic relationships. The deepest and most impactful pleasures are the ones that we derive from warm and loving relationships, such as those filled with appreciation, giving, gratitude, acceptance, and unconditional love. That doesn't mean that by chasing money, you will absolutely neglect your social life or anything else that brings you happiness. But when you do, you are going to feel the negative outcome. In other words, extreme success is not going to make you super happy. It'll just amplify who you already are and how you feel. Money will make your life easier. You don't have to worry about bills, and you can spend on your dream car, clothes, travel, or whatever it is you like. It will give you that financial stability you've always wanted. So, in that sense, money helps. If you are unhappy because you feel that you can be better than the people you went to high school with, money helps. But if you hate yourself today, you're gonna hate yourself whether you have money or not. Here's something David Friedman said for Forbes. He's a co-founder of Wealth Quotient. If you are an insecure, prickly person, then wealth will take that and blow that out. If you are a giving, generous person, it will be amplified through philanthropy and generosity. Once you become successful, expect for things to change. As you're gonna move up the ladder, you're gonna become more isolated. We can see a lot of people with higher status distancing themselves from others, and there's a good reason for it. First, you may start to feel more selfish or competitive. That, quite frankly, can happen because you survived so long by yourself. So, there's no reason for you to rely on others. This is why some people tend to not value their social connectedness. Secondly, when you have a lot of money, it's gonna push some people away. These can be people you love and trust. It could create a rift between you and your partner, friends, or family members. There's gonna be envy, jealousy, distrust. Expect people to be fake.
Have you been married twice? Oh, well then that's the last one you have. I guess that's good news.
In the end, you can't control how these people will react to you or what they do with their life, but you can control how their actions affect you. If you surround yourself with like-minded individuals who mean you good, then you can create a stable foundation for good mental health. You can count on these people when things get rough. Overall, wealth can give you unlimited possibilities. You're gonna have all the resources you could possibly need, and more. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't forget to work on your physical and emotional health. You have to take a deep dive into your psyche and understand what it is that truly makes you happy. This is where your beliefs, impulses, habits, and self-image comes from. Any unresolved issues like guilt, trauma, or shame will eventually come to the surface, regardless if you are rich or not.